Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. What do we got? August 3rd. Can you believe it's the month of August already? Can you believe it? My goodness. So we are 7 months into the year. Realistically, we have August, September, October, November. We got 4 months to make things happen before the end of the year. Let me let you in, talk about some numbers really briefly. So for the first 6 months of the year, we have closed as a company 3.7, or as an office, $3.7 million in commissions. That's pretty freaking amazing. 3.7. We did last year, we did 5.9 was the number that we ended up doing for the entire year. So as an office, Apollo Beach has done $3.7 million. That is the most in closings for the entire company. So congratulations, Sue, for leading the charge of the company. $3.7 million, which means if we continue doing that for the second half of the year, we're going to be at $7.4 million. Here's the good news and the bad news. Let me see if I could find that. If I can find it real quick, because I got it all in one email.
Did he find it well?
No,
Hold on, let me mute everybody.
it doesn't show anything. So I just, what the heck? Okay. You know,
Let's see.
All right, good. So just give me 1 second. Let me pull the production report and I can show you. Oh, it's not on that sheet. Okay, so that one wasn't sent out to me. But so basically what we're looking at is $7.4 million by the end of the year if we double our first half of the year productions. So where's the challenge in that? The challenge is that we're seeing shifts in both directions. We're seeing some shifts where we're not getting quite as many multiple offers. We're seeing other shifts where we're getting just as many. So we're not sure. We're pretty much hovering. What we want to do is we want to keep on pace and on par with what we did for this first half of the year. Because if we do that, we'll end up with $7.4 million. So here's the challenge to you all to keep up that kind of a pace. If we hit $7.7 million, that is Grand Centurion level production. So we're going to do double Centurion production for this year because we'll be over $5.7 million. Grand Centurion is $7.7 million for an office. So that would be a really good goal. I just got these numbers yesterday, so I'm going to put them all together and I'll show them to you next week when we're live in person, and we'll put some challenges out to everybody and some commitments, and we'll have some demonstrations on your mindset and what you can do and how powerful that mind is to be able to set this accountability and set these actions in place to get moving towards that. So that will all be next week. We're going to try and put a big push on till the end of the year for this third quarter and fourth quarter, so we can really turn it on and get to those numbers. We definitely want to stay on track to double the numbers from the beginning of the year, but it would be amazing and wonderful if we could pull in an extra $300,000 on top of that and hit Grand Centurion for office. You guys have done an amazing job so far up until this point, and you continue to amaze me with the level of production. As Craig said, there's a lot of new agents who are taking over the leaderboards. So we have some long-standing agents that have been in the top 5, top 10 producing agents in the office for the Apollo Beach office. And we have some newcomers. Like in the last 2 years, we have there's 5 people in the top 10 that were all in the last 2 years of joining the company and making all kinds of amazing productions. So far for the first 6 months, the number one agent in the office for Apollo Beach has done a $250,000 in gross commissions. So that's an amazing accomplishment. Doubling that puts you at $500,000 in production. And with the way that this agent is rocking it out and going, there is no signs of slowing down, and she's just continuing to rock. So getting to the office. So once we get everything opened up, just to touch on this briefly, like Craig did with coronavirus, be safe, do your part, be respectful. Try to keep our opinions to ourselves. We've just had some, they're not altercations, but discussions between some people. Some people are highly opinionated and some people have certain opinions, and not everybody feels the same way. Not everybody feels you should have a vaccine. Not everybody feels you shouldn't have the vaccine. It's all over the place. So let's just be respectful of everybody. Everybody's entitled to have their own opinion. Everybody's entitled to read their information the way that they want. And everybody should be being respectful and keeping everybody else around them as safe as possible as well. So let's just continue to do our part. We've committed to doing a 14-day quarantine from Naples. The last day of Naples was Wednesday when everybody was checking out and leaving, which would mean tomorrow is the 14th day, 2 weeks, which means that as of Thursday, we will open up for business as usual with those precautions in place. I would recommend that we wear masks if you are coming in and out of the office in a highly trafficked public area. If you're in your office and you're sitting there doing work, I'm not going to tell you that you have to wear a mask. There are no mandates. We're going to follow guidelines and mandates that are out there, and there currently are none. So we're going to continue to do our part to be safe and keep everybody happy and healthy. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to discuss any of that. All right, so like I said, we'll talk about numbers next week and getting that push on till the end of the year. At this point, I want to open it up to the floor for any new listings and buyer wants, so we can make sure we get these covered for before I run out of time. So who has new listings? Who has buyer wants, rental listings, opportunity? Who has something coming up that you want to pitch? So please unmute yourself, raise your hand, and let me know what you got so we can let the team know that we have some opportunities coming around. Anybody? What do you got? If you want, I'll start for you if it gives you a minute to get your stuff together. Diane Krikorian has a new listing that she's been working on, and she's asked me to help her out with this. So it is on 6340 Cocoa Lane. You are right here. So beautiful views of the bay. You get a nice little peekaboo view through the bay on the harbor on Cocoa Lane. This is a 1,900 square foot home, 1952, 3-bedroom, 3 full baths. This does have 2 master suites. It's got a roof then from 2017, electric panel in 2017. The home was replumbed by the previous owners. The dock was just done in 2018. The pavers in the backyard were done in 2018 and 19. There's a new refrigerator, brand new AC unit in 2019. It's a wonderful views, wonderful location. And it's going to take a little bit of personal touch on the inside because the kitchen was updated at some point about in the last 10 to 15 years, but the floors are going to need to be done. And that's pretty much about it.
Thank you so much, Chris. Hello, everyone from Michigan.
Hello, hello. So this is a great home. Like I said, 3-bedroom, 3 full bath, 2 master suites, split floor plan, great open layout, beautiful water views, easy access to the bay, nice updates. The bones of the home are absolutely solid and amazing, which gives the buyer the ability to do anything they want with minimal expenditure or a lot, depending on what their needs are. So if you have anybody looking for some of the most amazing sunsets and water views in Apollo Beach, please let them know. This will be on the market today. The price will be $759. Good. Anybody else? What other listings, what other opportunities are you generating and creating? Any other questions? Or right, if we don't have any of those, just roundtable open discussions about things that have been happening, questions you've had, experiences you want to share. You guys are always so talkative. This is the part where you talk. This is the part where you have your input. Tell me what you're doing. What are you noticing in the market then? Are you noticing your listings selling faster, slowing down? Are you noticing buyer activity increasing? Are you noticing less leads? Give me some input on what you are experiencing in your business. For those of you that are active, tell me a little bit about that. Someone unmute and give me some of your input. All right, guys, this doesn't work if we don't have input. We're trying to help everybody out and understand where their business is at, what they can do, what's happening, what's transpiring, what you're noticing. You are the boots on the ground. You are the ones who are out there actively searching for properties, searching with buyers, looking for listings. What are you seeing out there? What are some kickback that you're getting from buyers? What are kickback you're getting from sellers? What is input you're getting from consumers? This is supposed to be open roundtable for an open discussion. So tell me, what is happening and what are you noticing?
Hey, Chris, this is Chris Brown.
Mr. Brown, tell me about it. What's going on?
All right, so with my buyers right now, I have the best buyers that I've ever had. You know, they don't need closing costs. They have money to put down, losing out on offers, but trying to keep them motivated. I think that's a common question, a common situation for a lot of people with buyers right now, but just working to keep them motivated. You know, they're trying. I've had a couple that decided to go ahead and rent for the time being. But I think for me is right now, challenges I'm going through is keeping them motivated and, you know, trying to keep them competitive. I mean, they're being competitive, but they can only jump so high.
What are they, tell me a little bit about the buyer list. So what is the buyer's top? Are they paying over appraisal? Are they FHA, VA, conventional? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, they're towards the bottom two options, VA and FHA. You know, we've gone through the gamut. We understand that cash is king at this point. It's getting first odds and conventional because of the appraisal concerns or people bidding over and placing the properties on the market at higher prices. So it's kind of kept us in a bind in a sense. You know, we're willing to go over, but you know, it seems like on the other side, when I'm having conversations with those listing agents, you know, they even have concerns about their appraisal. So,
Are they, let me ask you a question. Is your buyer willing to, or are they searching in an area that is potentially Home Partners approved?
we haven't come across one that they're in line with, but I have been keeping that in mind, being able to do that possible cash offer.
Yeah, so if we have to compete with cash offers, we have the ability, especially for an FHA or VA buyer, to get them approved through Home Partners. Getting them approved through Home Partners turns them into a cash buyer, which the cash offers are king and winning out, especially when there's appraisal concerns. And Home Partners is making solid offers. We've seen certain instances where they've offered over list price, and eventually Home Partners canceled the contract because of HOA regulations, and the buyer ended up getting a loan and the property appraised for like 10 or 15,000 less than what Home Partners was going to pay cash for. So there is possibilities that Home Partners will make better offers. So I appreciate you making that consideration and keeping that open, but that is something that could put them ahead of the game. If they need a home, it's something that could really help out. Home Partners is going to offer cash. They probably won't offer as high as what they would have to offer as an FHA or VA buyer. So, and then at that point, when they buy it from Home Partners, they're not competing anymore. So it makes it a little easier to get through that process as long as the market is still shifting in the right direction. So yeah, definitely, Chris, we see a lot of that. A lot of agents and buyers are going through the same things with that. Keeping them motivated is absolutely key. You know, telling them the positives and some of the success stories that we're having, and just continually to put the pedal to the metal and keep going, just not letting up on that.
Yep.
Good. What else are you seeing? Anybody else on your listings? So anybody having listings, are you seeing, or recent listings on the market, have you seen any slowdowns? Have you seen anything that's shifted or anything that's changed, or is everything still par for the course for you? Please unmute.
Henry, I need help clearing the table, bud. Clear everything off the table.
Get it off the table. Take everything off the table.
Shoot, sorry.
Chris, it's Jackie.
Yes, ma'am. Tell me.
I noticed that in the $800,000 range that things are slowing up just a little bit. I've been showing a lot of houses that are in that price point to my one buyer, and they're on the market at 14, 15 days. And I know that's not a lot, but to a lot of people it is. And the other issue that I've had, and this has happened to me twice in the last couple of months, where agents are writing offers on houses and not disclosing their agents. And in the last case, I knew that it was an agent because I know them. But in the case before that, I didn't know this girl from Adam, or, and she didn't disclose anything, was trying to get $10,000 in closing costs back from my seller. And then it turns out that she was an agent and my seller was livid because she said, had I known that it was a $400,000 house, she's going to get a $12,000 commission. Why does she need another $10,000? And then she didn't qualify, which is another long story, but yeah, I don't understand, you were coming across agents that don't really know their job, and that's a little scary.
Yeah, we're running into that a lot with agents cutting corners to get offers accepted, agents cutting corners to get past something. And you have to be extremely, extremely careful and diligent and proactive to make sure that you don't end up as one of those people. There's a lot of ethical issues and concerns that are out there. And in that case, we've seen this multiple times where agents are doing that. Disclosures are key. Number one, disclosing you're an agent. Here's another thing that we've run into that I just saw this. So keep this in mind. In the Temple Terrace area, there's a condo association. One of our agents wrote an offer on it and they got under contract. Within their inspection period and loan approval period, the underwriters for the loan found that there is sinkhole issues and an ongoing sinkhole claim and litigation against the insurance or the condo association it's ongoing, currently going on right now. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac will not underwrite a loan with an ongoing claim and litigation going on. So that can't be financed through a traditional loan. The buyer canceled within their loan approval, got denied. They sent the cancellation back. It came back on market, and in the property remarks, the public remarks that said, back on market, buyer canceled not due to property condition. Financing denied not due to property condition. That's a pretty bold statement when the direct issue that caused the financing to be denied was a property related condition that it has to be disclosed. It was not disclosed in the seller's disclosure. It was not disclosed on the condo association because it asks if there's ongoing litigation in both of those documents, and it was not put on that, and it was not disclosed. So it is a direct property related condition. In a condo association, for those of you understanding this, you own your unit, but you also own a fraction of the common elements. That's why it's an underwriting issue, because a fraction of those common elements is sold along with your individual unit. So the underwriter is saying, yes, I'll give you a loan for that unit and a portion of the ownership of the common elements. Well, the common elements, not the specific unit, the common elements that are provided to the condo owner as fractional ownership have sinkholes and have claims and have litigation going on because they're in the middle of remediating and going through claims for them. That's an issue for an underwriter. And that's where there starts to be problems, because this agent took it upon herself to say that it's not property related conditions, when it is. As if you buy a condo, you're buying the unit and the common elements, which is part of the property. So property related conditions are affecting the loan approval there. And she blatantly wrote that into the remarks. So in the cases like that, we're not trying to get anybody in trouble, but the public can be damaged. So we sent an email to the broker and the agent, and she said she would fix it, and she did not. So at that point, we reported it to GTAR. And if they find that there's a violation, they'll handle it and they'll go from there. But we're not trying to be the police, but the public is somebody that can be damaged at that point, because this buyer paid for a inspection, just paid for the appraisal, and then canceled just before that, so they were able to get that money back. Anybody else, any other issues or concerns or things that you're noticing that you wanted to talk about or address? What are you noticing? What's going on in the market?
Hey, Chris, Brian D here.
Yes, sir.
I had a cancellation yesterday of an offer that I just wrote last week. And it was a very similar situation to the one you just described, where we had a condominium in Tampa. And I guess there's the age-old story. If the price is too good to be true, it probably is. I sat down with the property manager yesterday morning, and had a long discussion with them as to why they were leaving these properties. They're no longer going to be representing this particular condo association. And he said, well, they won't comply with what needs to be done. And it turns out that some 7 years ago, there were sinkhole complaints made, and the insurance company for the condo association actually settled with the association, paid them, but the association would never make the sinkhole repairs. So now that's an association that's probably 70% investor owned, maybe 30% owner occupied. So I don't know what happened to the money that got turned over to the association from the insurance company, but the sinkholes had never been repaired. And as a result, the property management company is literally walking away from this particular association. So needless to say, we walked away at the same time. Yeah. And saved our customer a lot of heartache, but you can't be too careful.
Absolutely. That's right. That's why it's important to get your condo docs from a listing perspective and a buyer's perspective. As a listing perspective, you want to have the condo docs that are mentioned in the condo disclosure, have those prepared and have those ready when you go on market. That way, as soon as you get an offer, you can provide them to the buyer. The buyer will have 3 days to review all of those. And for you to get yourself knowledgeable of what's going on with that association and what's happening there. So good. Any other input? Anybody else have anything to share? Anything they're noticing? Anything that's happening around them in your neck of the woods, in your neighborhood? Anything that you wanted to discuss? Good. I know, Lana, you sent me a text and you asked about, there's a customer who wants to know the value of a property and sent an address, but I can't find it anywhere, not through the name or an address. MLS, Hillsborough County Record, Zillow, it shows unavailable. Maybe you have an idea what I can do. I'll text the address next. All right, well, let's just go look, because this is one of the first things that I'll do whenever anybody asks me to look at something or find something. I go to MLS and I put the address in MLS, 13405 Prestwick Drive. And then I'm just going to go straight to the map. So if you're online, Lana, if you can unmute yourself and answer a couple questions. So
yes,
property, is he wanting to know, is this property for sale? Is that what he's saying? He sees it for sale somewhere?
No, he's the owner.
Okay, so he wants to know valuation. And you can't find any information on it. All right. So what you see when
if you hover over it, it says information unavailable.
Yep, no property information at this location. So for those of you who aren't aware of this, if you are a first responder, police officer, firefighter, judge, public defender, things like that, there are certain professions that you can have your public information withheld. Meaning you have to file paperwork, go down to the DMV, go to the county courthouse, I believe, go deliver some information to them, and they will withhold your personal information. So your name will not be found in public record, your address won't be available, you won't be able to find any of the information out. So in this instance, we're not going to be able to find it in property appraiser, we're not going to find it in tax records or in any of these other websites. So the best thing is going to be to communicate directly with this seller to be able to go by and go through the process of pre-qualification, previewing the home. And once we preview the home, we can get a general idea of what it is. We could probably look on, what we'll do is I'll sit down with you and we'll look and see if we can find it anywhere else. But usually what I'll do is I'll look on Remat, on Realist and IMAP and try and find something there, because sometimes there's little slivers of information, and also Remine, because sometimes you can find little pieces through all of those. So we'll take a look at that. We can sit down together and look at that together. But that is something that's common for public servants. Say you can have your information removed so it's not accessible online.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Chris.
Yep, you got it. Any other comments or anything? Anybody else want to chime in on anything that you're noticing happening in the market? What's going on in your neck of the woods, or any changes that you've seen, or anything you want to address? No? Good. So we're just about 30 minutes. And what I'm going to do is Like I mentioned, we're going to talk about numbers next week. We're going to talk about commitments next week, accountability next week. We're going to go through. We told you that we're at 6 months in through the years, $3.7 million. If we keep the pace up, we'll be at $7.4 million as an office. That keeps us as the #1 office in the company, which is where we want to be. But we want to see if we can add that $300,000 more to get to the Grand Centurion, which is going to take a strong commitment, a strong push, and a strong accountability on everybody's part. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the accountability, and we'll also mention and get into a little bit of the mindset and power of the mind next week. We'll be live in person next week in the Apollo Beach training room, as well as online. If you need anything, we're available. Please call, please text, please email. We're right here for you all the time. And we will let you go. 10:04, August 3rd. So get out there and make something happen. If you need anything, please call. Thank you very much. And we will talk with you here soon. Thanks, guys.